I'm Christy Lockhart, Assistant Director for the Thomas Crane Public Library, and today I'm joined by soprano Jean Danton, who will be performing in our upcoming concert at the Crane. Jean will be accompanied by pianist Luke Malloy, and they'll be treating us to a Broadway cabaret performance. Welcome, Jean.
Thank you.
So I wanted to start out, would you be able to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. I'm a professional singer and an equity actor, and I've been blessed to have a wonderful career so far. I've sung with Keith Lockhart and the Boston Pops, Handel and Haydn Society, with Christopher Hogwood, Boston Baroque, Martin Perlman. I've sung in Carnegie Hall and Lincoln Center, so I've been very fortunate and have sung with wonderful groups. And as an actor, I've been able to perform with the American Repertory Theater and some more local groups, also New England Light Opera, American Classics. I also am a recording artist. I'm on Pandora Premium, and I've got 9 solo albums out, a variety of styles, because I love to sing in all different styles. And I teach at 3 colleges, and also am a music director and cantor at St. Mary's in Cambridge.
So you're not busy at all?
No, not at all. And I have 2 wonderful young boys, young men. So.
Yeah, so definitely a full schedule. Did you begin your training to be a singer when you were very young, and what did that entail?
I think I always loved to sing, and we used to act out musicals in our house just for fun. I have 2 sisters, and we would just play act. And there was a wonderful university. I'm from Western New York State, SUNY Fredonia, and I just went there and started in voice performance and then double majored with musical theater and got some wonderful training there in voice and theater, and then went on to get a master's in opera at the Hartt Conservatory. But music has always been a huge part of my life, music and theater, and I was just very fortunate to get some amazing training and work with some wonderful, wonderful teachers and mentors along the way.
That's fantastic. And I know that at the upcoming performance, you're going to be accompanied by Luke Malloy on the piano.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you two began working together.
Gladly. I was teaching voice at Eastern Nazarene College, and I was looking for a pianist to accompany my students. And Luke is from Quincy, and I was very fortunate that he was working at some of the shows there, and I heard him play, and I grabbed him and said, "You must come and play for my students." So he came, and we've been working together for about 8 years. He played for my students at their lessons and their recitals, and then when he was in 2019, he graduated from North Quincy High, and I pretty much told him he had to stay in Boston and keep accompanying my students and doing concerts with me, and he very nicely obliged, even though I'm sure he got many other offers. He went to Berkeley, and thank you, Luke. He's an amazingly talented young man, and I noticed something very special about him the minute I met him and heard him play. He's got a real gift. There's a magic when he plays the piano. And he's also training at Berkeley to be a music director and conductor, and he actually does a lot of shows. He's been doing it for years in the area regionally, working with theaters as a music director and conductor, as well as a collaborator on shows and just cabarets. And he's just so gifted. And when you so nicely invited me to perform, and I heard it was going to be in Quincy, I thought I'd love to feature Luke, because he's a native to the city, and he's just so talented, and I love working with him, and he's just the nicest young man too.
And I was, not to embarrass Luke, but we were excited because his mother actually used to work at the Thomas Crane Public Library, and his grandmother is a longtime friend of the library, so it was just, it felt like kismet.
Right, I know. Yeah. I didn't know that until, and then I was like, what? It was wonderful.
No,
so,
it's perfect.
Yeah, so I think the people of Quincy are going to love to see him perform, and I'm going to feature him on some solos as well in the program, because he's just amazing. Whether he's collaborating as an accompanist or playing solo, he's wonderful, and I wanted to showcase his talents.
Definitely looking forward to seeing him. So you've worked extensively as a soloist with various symphony orchestras. You've performed in various operas, operettas, and musicals. Do you have a favorite vocal genre?
No. The one thing I love about music is that all music is wonderful to me, and I love that I can sing in all different styles, from musical theater to pops to classical. You know, I'm a master's in opera, chamber music, contemporary music, and also I used to sing in a rock band. I love all kinds of music, and I try to make sure that I get to perform in these different concerts and different venues. I get to do a little of everything, and I was so glad you asked me to sing this concert, because I was able to do some show tunes and some jazz, which I love. I have a concert coming up in June in Paris that will be very different, chamber music, where I'll be performing with a violin, violist, organist, and pianist, and it'll be mainly contemporary and classical music, Handel and Haydn. So I feel very fortunate. I get to sing many different styles, and I just love them all. I mean, they're all so wonderful, and why limit yourself?
And actually, speaking of travel, we've been asking this of all of our performers the last few months in these interviews, but how has COVID changed how you find yourself working and performing?
Well, it's been difficult for many musicians, and I think, as you and I were talking earlier, the reason why people really want to come out now and hear music live is that there have been no concerts that have been live, so that I find that music and the arts can sustain one, especially through this terrible time of the pandemic. And for me especially, music has been a solace, something to be able to draw from and enjoy, especially during the hard times of the last 2 years. But I have to say, for myself personally, I've been very lucky, especially in that I've been able to keep teaching in my private lessons and at the colleges, because we're fortunate as singers that voice lessons work really well on Zoom, which not all instruments have found. So I was able to continue teaching as if nothing had happened, actually, and singing at St. Mary's in Cambridge went on without a break. We switched over to streaming. So for me, and I did some Zoom concerts, which was fun, challenging,
interesting,
but fun. But except for not being able to perform live, which I really missed, that connection with the audience, it really didn't change a lot for me personally, and I was just very fortunate. But I know for a lot of my colleagues who are on other instruments, they were not as fortunate as me, and the pandemic was a very stressful period in terms of they weren't able to perform at all, or found it very difficult to continue teaching lessons. The Zoom format doesn't work as well with all instruments.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you do, as you mentioned, you're on the faculty of the New England Conservatory, but you also teach at Boston College and Salem State, so very, very full schedule. What are the challenges of teaching promising young singers, and what advice would you give to somebody who wanted to pursue a career as a vocalist?
Well, I always start with the acting, because I'm an equity actor, and as I mentioned before, I started in voice performance, which is a wonderful degree, but it didn't give me the 4 years of straight theater training, the acting, the dance, the choreography, the makeup, the lighting, setting lights, building sets. So that double major really instilled in me this love of theater and trained me to become an equity actor. And I find that I really stress with my students that they need to get that training, whether in a BFA degree or on their own, some real theater training, to make themselves a real complete artist so that they can be more versatile and marketable, because I'm fortunate that I can do all these different styles, but I really credit a lot to my, not only the vocal training in different styles, because you have to be able to switch between opera and musical theater and totally switch your vocal technique, but also the theater, the training I was fortunate to have that allows me to perform and be very believable and realistic and an artist. So I really stress that with them, that they get that training. I just gave a master class at New England Conservatory for the School of Continuing Ed called Acting the Song, that gave an overview of that kind of training that I hope to spread the good news to singers, that I hope that they will find in their training, that they really search for it, seek it out, especially dance nowadays too. Singers really have to be the triple threat. You have to dance, sing, and act. I also recommend to my college students that they have a second major or a minor. Because it's just a very difficult career that we're in. So versatility is key. For example, I gave a wonderful concert with the North Shore Philharmonic in December with Rob Lehman, and Rob always, he's the conductor, has me come out and do classical music on the first half, and then I come back out and I croon some White Christmas and Chestnuts, so I have to be able to switch styles within the same concert. So that versatility is very important for singers, that they have to understand that for a career in the arts now, the more versatile you are, the more jobs you'll be able to pursue, and it's just more fun too. I feel, I sing a little Mozart and then come back out and do some pops is really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For me as a performer, I don't like to limit myself, and I think the audience loves that change up, that you can do both styles or more, and they enjoy it too. So it's a win-win for everyone. But I really stress that with my students, that they also have that minor or major in something else as well, so that while they're auditioning and trying to make this career happen, they can support themselves.
Yeah, it is a tough field.
It's very difficult, especially I think the pandemic made us all see how the arts really suffered and how out of work so many people were when we couldn't perform. So that's when you really need that second career, either in the arts as a music business or administrative arts, or something that can sustain you during such a terrible time like that too. It was really brought to the forefront during the pandemic how important that other career could be, or some other way to make a living.
Yeah. Are there any particular favorites we should keep an ear out for?
Oh wow, it's so hard. I love doing programs like this. I was so happy you asked me to perform show tunes and some jazzy show tunes. It's really hard to limit the songs because there are just so many I wanted to do. I think, you and I have a wonderful love of Sondheim.
Yes, we do.
We just love Sondheim. His music is just amazing, and one of my all-time favorite composers, so I definitely had to put some Sondheim on the program. And one of my favorite songs is a gender-bending song I get to do because, again, it's a one-woman show, so I can do the male parts. I love it. Love to do that. I would never probably get cast in that in real life. So I'm doing Not While I'm Around from Sweeney Todd. I'm also doing some jazzier versions. I should say the first part of the program is called Oldies But Goodies. So we're starting with some of the more classic Broadway shows of the golden era, Jerome Kern, Gershwin, and doing some songs that people will probably recognize, Summertime, Gershwin, and then moving into the Sondheim set, and then doing some Leonard Bernstein somewhere, showcasing Sondheim as a lyricist as well. And then we're going to end with a set of Broadway standards that have become more like jazz standards now, because the shows aren't really done anymore, but the music was taken over by the jazz musicians, and now they've become amazing classics. So I'm going to do Blue Skies, Over the Rainbow, those are some favorites. I Got Rhythm, and I'm going to have Luke play 2 or 3 solos also to showcase that music. So it's a little bit of everything, so I hope everyone will enjoy it. We're doing little oldies, Sondheim, and jazzy Broadway versions of songs.
Well, I am so excited. I was so excited when we first started talking about this particular concert, and this is, of course, going to be our last concert inside for the season, so it seemed like a perfect way to sort of finish strong before we move out onto the lawn for the summer. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. And just a final reminder that concerts at the Crane featuring Jean Danton, accompanied by Luke Malloy, we hope to see you there.
Strange dear, but true dear, when I'm close to you, dear, the stars fill the sky, so in love with you am I, even without you, my Haunt me.